Hello racing fans and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting Bet with the best bet with WSB. Well, it's racing at Greyville on Saturday, and then we move over to Kenilworth on Sunday, and there'll be no racing on Monday. So this weekend, I suspect we should have bumper pools at both centers and two exciting race meetings. Well, we are going to begin with Saturday, and on Saturday, I've picked out two horses at Greyville, and the first of our two runners, I want to make sure about this. Yeah, the first of our two runners comes up in race number, just making sure, yep, it does come up in race number 2, so it's quite early in the day, and it's going to be horse number 4, James Cabernet, Peter Muscat's runner. She started off her career down in Cape Town. Of course, we know that Peter Muscat took a string down to Cape Town to get a feel of how things are going to be for his stable down in that part of the world. And I must say that he did superbly well. Well, he had this filly there, and she had two runners, which were fair efforts. And then first time out back in the province, they raced on the poly track. It was a good run, but considering that the betting support came for her, one could say that some punters out there that went for her on the poly track were disappointed with that run, finishing 2 lengths behind Storm Jewel. And in that race, well, there were horses that finished in front of her, the likes of Ladies' Day and, of course, County Kildare. So I'm of the opinion, and I'm going to take a firm stance here and say that I'm not saying that she's unsuited to the polling track. She ran okay, but I think she'll be better suited to the turf. And the fact that they've gone with the blinkers to try and sharpen her up, she's nicely drawn. Craig Zaki and Peter Muscat, you'll see this combination more often during champion season. We got a taste of their partnership at Scottsville last weekend. So number 4, James Cabernet, I think over this distance, she may have found the right type of field. The only horse that does give me some type of concern is the unknown of the race, which is the first time at number 9, Far Horizon. And the reason I say this is that I don't know whether Keegan DeMello had a choice of picking between 4 and 9, or he was just put on a 9 and left it as is. But number 4, James Cabernet, with natural improvement after that first unpart in the province, blinkers on, back on the dove, I think she'll go very close to winning this. So race 2, number 4, James Cabernet. Then we move along to a horse that I think is going to be our backup bet on the card for Pick 6 players. That comes up in race number 6 over 1,200 meters. At first glance, when you have a look at this field, you'll make it a competitive race, and this horse that I'm picking won't give you all the confidence in the world because he hasn't trained on after winning on debut. And I say he hasn't trained on, he hasn't run badly. Immediately after his first start, which was on the 14th of August, where he won first time out at 7-1, just slipping under the radar if the betting was to be a guide. He was straight down to Cape Town where he had 5 starts. They haven't been the worst of runs, but the stable seemed to be battling with distances, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600 meters. And I think the key to his success this time around will be gelding. I've watched these races, and he just looks like a horse that needs to be mentally sound, get his mind on the job, and of course, this race looks to be the right race for him to come out, and if he's fresh and well against this type of field, what we saw first time out, I think he's the type of horse that could win this. He's beautifully bred, as we know. All his secret, she was just a special race of filly. Now, obviously, the dam of this horse, Cheeky Laddie, I think she won 6 times from 1,200 up to 1,600 meters. And Deep Canamea put his hand up for Kaya Stables to purchase this individual for 2 million rand. They really liked him at the sale, and he's an attractive looking horse. So have a look at him in the parade ring. He's a grey, he's a son of Give Me the Green Light. He's got the blood, he's got the pedigree, and I think that we're yet to see the best of him. And hopefully, now that he's gelded, we could see him bring his best to the course and racing fresh, because the last he was seen was on the 7th of December. So let's see how the 3 Cheeky Laddie goes. at around 33 to 10 in the betting market. That's where he is, and I think that's a generous price about Cheeky Laddie in race number 6. And then we go on to our meeting in Cape Town at Kenilworth on Sunday. And here I have gone. I initially picked 3 runners, so I'm going to stick with the 3 runners, and we'll see what happens with these 3 runners on how they're going to be put up in mixed trebles on the World Sports Betting venue. So the first of our 3 runners will come up in race number 4 with 1,600 meters, and it's Bardolino for Crawford and Louis McCortla, a horse that's been soundly beaten by Intimidator, but you just have to do the calculation of the weight turnaround, which is 2.5 kgs in his favor this time round, and I think that's going to be good enough for me to reverse the vault with a very in-full runner in Intimidator. That penultimate start, Future Turn and Jam Jam coming out to it. His last start was in the Cape Stakes race. I think it was for 3-year-olds only, and that was a good run behind Sugar Martin. He'll have the run of the race from draw 1, and Bardolino, just go and see how he won his maiden. He actually beat that horse called Rockpool, who's very highly rated by the Justin Snake stable. So from draw 1, hoping that he has a run of the race and he can reverse the fall to his only danger in the race, which I'll make number 2, Intimidator. That's race number 4. Then I'm going on to a very brave choice for Trackside, and that will be race number 7 over 1,600 meters, because this is the WSB Variety Club Mile. It's a Group 3. In fact, World Sports Betting, they are also sponsoring the World Sports Betting Sweet Chestnut State, which is a listed race over the 1,400 meter trip. That's race number 5. And then they sponsor race number 6. They don't sponsor, which is the Champion Stakes, but they do sponsor race number 7, which is the World Sports Betting Variety Club by Group 3 over 1,600 meters. And I like a horse here. He's starting to capture my imagination. Number 3, without question. He's a 3-year-old that was heavily pushed up after his 3rd in the Cape Derby behind See It Again and Charles Dickens, and up from a 99 to a 119. But what was really encouraging is that if you watch racing midweek, a horse called Cosmic Event, who was some way behind in that race, finishing towards the back of the field, came out and won a really good race midweek with God for Nick for Justin Snake. So that was a plus for me during the course of the week. I think he's an exciting 3-year-old, and I'm hoping that he can hold his corn against older horses here, and there's some serious older horses here. In fact, if you look at the runners that Justin Snake has entered for this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July, which is several of them, 3 of them find themselves in this race. Number 1, Pomp and Power, who's currently trading. Yep, the betting is out of World Sports Betting for the nominations, which are 65 for the 2023 renewal of the Hollywood Bets Durban July. And number 1, Pomp and Power, is trading at 9 to 1 on the website. Number 3, without question, at 22 to 1. And number 5, Pakai, is trading at around 18 to 1. But coming back to without question, I think his mission will be to get him into that Hollywood Bets Durban July. And this will be a good test for him against older horses that I think against this type of field, the fact that Richard Faree has been engaged to ride him, and we know that Richard's had first choice in the Snake stable, so they've given him the choice, and he's taken this horse, number 3, without question. I'm hoping he's the right horse, but it doesn't stop there, this race, and we'll see how it goes. But I like him after Cosmic Event winning that week. And then on to the lucky last. Well, some may say it's tough enough to win 2 in a row. 3 in a row is tougher, but to win 4 in a row takes something special. I'm going to take a stance and say that this horse is still the head of the handicapper. Her name is Touch of Grace. She took 6 starts to win the maiden, but since she won the maiden, she's just grown in confidence as they've stepped her up in division. And her last win, I must admit, was a most impressive victory to date. Just the way Aldo de Mayo moved up, and he made light work of the opposition. And that form line has seen here Komi Bopper win, Porter Voss coming out to win as well. So those two are the winners from that form line. And now, can she make it 4 in a row? Well, I think each time they raise her rating, she raises the game. And whilst there will be others in the race that will be trying to have a number this time round, I like the fact that Elder sticks with her, this daughter of Karari, and we'll see if she can go 4 in a row. Often is the case with racing that we try to look for, the needle in the haystack, something that is not there. But I've been told a long time ago that you rather go for the in-form horse, the horse that's winning, the horse that's in good form, rather than the horse that's coming down in ratings and trying to find that horse at the right time. So this horse is in form. We know that she's in cracking good form and wants to complement the stable of Adam Marcus on the way he's just got to train on and read off the hat-trick. So can she make it 4 in a row? Well, we'll know on Sunday. And that is a wrap, guys. Those are 3 horses on Sunday, and we've got 2 horses on Saturday. I just want to go to the World Sports Betting venue, if I may, because there's lots of action, as always, on that website. But the one thing that I want to have a look at, so I go onto my device, I punch in World Sports Betting, that comes up. I go onto the website, I go to South Africa, which I'm there now, and I'm having a look at the anti-post betting market for this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July World Cup. Of the 65 entries on top of the betting boards, the ruling favorite is Cousin Casey at 11-2. Rascallion is at 8.5 to 1. Pomp and Power, who we just spoke about in one of the races down in Cape Town of the weekend, is at 9 to 1. Safe Passage is at 9 to 1. Then there's a big gap. We go into double figure horses. Anfield's Rockers is a 17 to 1. See It Again is an 18 to 1, along with Radiant Holland, Son of Raj, Billy Bowlegs, and Pakaya. They're all trading at 18 to 1. I'll give you some of the runners that are in 20 to 1. Supoto Manzano at 22 to 1. Zapatellis at 22 to 1. Without Question at 22 to 1. Rock Pool at 22 to 1. And then At Your Command at 25 to 1. Dave the King, I see, at 28 to 1 on World Sports Betting. And then Interesting Runner at 30 to 1 also runs over the weekend. And Greyville, called Quasi for Sure, that's trading at 30 to 1. And it's 35 to 1 and better the balance. So there's plenty of value if you want to jump it early and try and get some of these prices. Because once the field starts cutting down as we get to second nominations and then declarations for this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July, you'll see those prices shorten. But that is it, guys. I wish that everything goes according to plan, and I trust that you're well, you're having a fair week, and hopefully it turns out to be a better weekend for you. As always, on behalf of World Sports Betting, thanks to all the punters, but more importantly and more especially, thanks to you, the valued customer. Have a blast, find all the winners, make a huge profit, and hopefully it turns out to be a very successful weekend. From ourselves, Deez Dayanand, and the team at World Sports Betting, until we meet again, which will be next week, you take care. Salane, guys.